My name is Rapava. I work at the Media Development Foundation. I'm the director of Media Literacy Project for youth. We have two target groups. First is the youth, and the second target group is the one that teaches the youth, aka the teachers. So we don't work with youth only. The teachers are also our target audience. We issued a special guide for teachers on media literacy, how they can include it into their school curricula, how they can teach, what resources they can use. It's written in a plain and simple language with lots of cases and interesting discussions and exercises that they can perform with their students, and some instructions for specific teachers, like for geography teachers, how to use geolocation when they teach geography. And you would be surprised how the youth responds. Actually, they are very interested in these issues, and they are more active and more open-minded. Well, for obvious reasons. Whenever we go to the regions, for example, the kids they want to learn. They can come across real problems on their everyday basis. Cyberbullying, for example. Whenever we go to school for training, they complain about cyberbullying. They want to know about how to tackle it. What do we do when somebody posts some mean comments on us? They want to learn it, and we give them this opportunity to have the skills to respond, to prevent. In our trainings, we cover several different issues like media regulation and ethics, how media should write the news, hate speech, cybersecurity, cyberbullying, internet trolls, photo and video manipulation. It would be difficult to distinguish which one is a bigger problem, fake news or hate speech or cyberbullying. But from what I see, from my experience, for example, I think cyberbullying is the biggest. And when I teach at the trainings, when I'm with the kids or the teachers, I always say that all of us can become cyberbullies without even understanding it. Like putting one haha on a Facebook post already is something. We may not even realize we are cyberbullying somebody. So cyberbullying is a bigger problem than all the other, actually. And cyberbullying against journalists is a very big issue right now, especially the journalists who are free and independent and have a critical attitude towards certain subjects. We had a case, for example, several months ago, when we published a report and made the activities of certain government trolls obvious. In the report, we had this detailed account of how they operated, how they were connected with one another, that they were fake accounts, and then in several weeks, we had to publish another report, how these new trolls, bullied us on the internet. They were commenting. My organization, our writers and reporters were bullied. They comment mean stuff. What is the most popular word? How can you insult a person in Georgia today? You have to say that is affiliated with George Soros, for example. So this means that this is how they humiliate people. They think this is something you can be humiliated with, and you're the slave of Soros, and you're a slave to America. And but these are some nicest things that they say. They were meaner than this. Swear words. I won't repeat it, of course, on the camera. There's this game, it's the card game actually, it's called Media Detector. It's something we borrowed from Deutsche Welle actually. They had the same and we just transformed it into media literacy card stack. Kids love this especially. each card has a word written on it, and there's some synonyms to this word, and you have to guess. For example, one word is cookie, for example, an internet cookie, right? And that there are certain synonyms, and you tell them the synonyms, and they have to guess the word that's written on the card, and that the children compete with one another, and they love this. And the winner takes the cards, and the more cards, the better. You know, your group will win if you have most cards. Another thing that they like is online games. That's really, we received really good feedback on that, especially the nose game, the fake news game, when your nose grows in Pinocchio style, and if you give an incorrect answer, they love it, actually. They love to challenge themselves if they can guess which photo is manipulated and which is authentic. We're actually working on a cyberbullying game, but this is more from the perspective of a victim, you know. We're more oriented or, you know, preventing and responding. I think there's a direct link between democracy and information literacy. Because right now, for example, we have a serious problem with freedom of expression at the current moment as we're speaking right now. There's a group of people who want to express themselves freely, but they cannot because they are not perceived very well by the society. And I have no problem actually naming them. These are sexual minorities who want to come out in the streets and say that we're here, we're vulnerable, but the government is not able to defend them because the people have so much aggression that these people are afraid to come out in the streets. And this is the impact of propaganda. And this is the impact that people think. One of the most popular conspiracy theories and fake news about sexual minorities is that this is a disease and these people are ill and they need to be put into hospitals. And or another one, it does not exist, they're just in a role or something, you know, they're playing, and people believe it. So if you don't check, if you don't know, if you don't understand where it comes from, if you're not curious about is this a disease, you should just Google it, right, and see that it's not a disease. It's been removed from the list of diseases officially because it's not a disease. So there is a direct link. I hope I showed you with just one example. I think both the foreign and the local governments use manipulation and disinformation to their advantage. If we're speaking about the foreign forces, this is what we're talking about, and this is what's this all about, right? As I sometimes say that nobody uses guns anymore. It's all on the internet. It's all about information, you know, because it's more powerful. It's more powerful because you cannot easily fight off a person who is absolutely sure that millions of migrants are coming to Georgia who believe this, right, without even checking. So it's not like 2 centuries ago. You cannot simply just march into the capital, right? Another thing is you can get allies in that country. You can change their way of thinking. You can influence them. So this is what this is all about. This is what they're using it. I can give you the example of my own country, for example. I'm giving you this example because this is the biggest example of examples we've had so far. We had to tackle such amount of fake news coming from all sources, TV, newspapers, online media. We couldn't handle it. It's about the American lab in Tbilisi, named after Richard Lugar. It's been operating for a couple of years now. And as soon as the Russian media started talking that the lab is dangerous and they're producing some chemicals and a biological weapon to destroy Russia and Georgia, and you know, people believe it. You'll be surprised how many people believe it. And at some point, even their Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Lavrov, started talking about this lab, and we really got scared because the country has one more reason, to show you that the West is bad and it's working some chemicals to kill you and testing some chemicals to kill you. And secondly, at some point we even thought that it might be a cause for physical intervention. If they think that there's a biological weapon on our territory, this is quite possible that people will intervene physically. Like, we did our best, we and other organizations in this field who do this, to show the people that this is just another Russian narrative, that the West is killing us and trying to poison us, of course. But it's an interesting fact that just a couple of days ago, Georgia has agreed to host Russian experts so they can come and see for themselves that there is no such a thing as biological weapon or Asian bug manufactured at the lab, and I hope that this stops for good. Cooperation is key, of course, but cooperation not with words, but with actions, actually, to do something together, to sit at a table, maybe not at a fancy event, or just sit at an actual working table and sit and speak what we can do for one another, to exchange some thoughts, what we are fighting against, what they are fighting against. Maybe we have the same enemy, and maybe we have the same goal, and it's not only about funding, it's about exchanging ideas, because at one of the workshops, for example, where there were Eastern Partnership countries present a couple of months back in Sweden, we had an exchange of wonderful ideas with Eastern Partnership countries. We even gave them the ideas for online games, for example, some draft a concept, and they're working on it currently, and we even established a network, which, a network is a good stuff, by the way. We update it from time to time regularly with new resources if we have.